68, Loretta Johansson, his wife, age 64, and their 13-year-old granddaughter with obvious and multiple stab wounds. The victims were transported to St. Joseph's Medical Center where Mr. Johansson died. Mrs. Johansson is undergoing treatment and is expected to survive. The 13-year-old girl is being treated for what are believed to be non-life-threatening knife wounds. One of the victims reported that Mr. Johansson's son, Per Olaf Johansson, age 32, was responsible for stabbing his father, mother, and 13-year-old niece. The Bellingham Police Department assisted deputies at the scene and deployed a canine track. The suspect was located within a block of the residence at 6:47 a.m., 32 minutes after the 911 call was received. The suspect was arrested and is being treated at St. Joseph's Hospital for what are described as non-life-threatening self-inflicted stab wounds. His condition is reported to be stable. The victims resided together at a residence on Lottie Drive. Our investigation is also continuing into the background of the suspect, Johansson, who has an extensive and long record of arrests that includes weapons and domestic violence-related crimes. His most recent local arrest was on last September for delivery of marijuana. The knife that the suspect used in the crime is believed to have been located within the residence. The Sheriff's Office investigation in this matter will continue. This is the fourth domestic violence-related homicide to be investigated by the Sheriff's Office in 2010 and illustrates that family violence continues to be a serious and dangerous problem in our community. To answer any questions you might have regarding the dynamics of domestic violence, I have with me Karen Burks, Executive Director of Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Services, and Susan Marks, Director of the Bellingham-Whatcom Commission Against Domestic Violence. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
What type of knife was it?
It appears to be a kitchen knife, approximately 8-inch blade.
Any possible motive?
We don't know at this time. We're continuing to investigate.
I'm sorry, could you go over the names and ages again? I want to make sure I have them spelled right.
Yeah, I'll spell them for you. The deceased victim is Raymond Johansson, Johansson. His wife, Loretta, is stabbed and is in stable condition. We're not going to release the name of the 13-year-old girl. The suspect's name is Per Olaf Johansson, that's P-E-R-O-L-A-F Johansson.
Was she in custody of Per? And did Per have
We don't know what if there were any custody arrangements or what the living arrangements were at this time.
You don't know if he was living there or if she was living there all at the same time?
She was living in the residence. We don't know. We haven't been able to ascertain more about her parents and her relationship with her grandparents at this time.
Do you know if Per was living there?
Yes, he was.
So as Sheriff Elfo stated, I'm Karen Burke from Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Services, and we'd really like to encourage anyone who has any questions about domestic violence related crimes or dynamics in these kind of crimes to call our hotline number. We're available 24 hours a day. That number is available locally at 360-715-1563 and also available toll free at 1-877-715-1563. And our services are free and confidential. This can be a really frightening time for anybody that's currently in a domestic violence family situation, and this is a great opportunity to call for help.
Can you talk about this time of year? It seems that domestic violence happens more often, more stress.
There is a lot of stress, as we all know. Those of us anybody who has a family understands that there's a lot of stress at this time of year. What we do know is that stress doesn't cause domestic violence, nor does alcohol or any kind of financial issues, but what it does is it really is fuel for a fire. So if there's a family where there are already domestic violence dynamics happening, it really can exacerbate and certainly increase the levels of violence. Any other questions?
In Perry's history, is domestic violence against any of the current victims?
We know he's been arrested previously for violating a protection order, for a domestic violence protection order, but we don't at this point know who the named protected parties are. That we're still trying to obtain that paperwork, but we will have that by today.
I'm sorry, I was just unclear. Her lived at the residence, but you don't know if the 13-year-old did, or I was confused.
We don't know if she was visiting or she actually resided there, but she was there last night.
But he lived there with the
But
parents?
he lived there with the parents.
Okay.
Sorry, Chip, what's the condition of the 13-year-old?
The 13-year-old has multiple stab wounds, but they're non-life threatening.
Where are the 13-year-old's parents?
We don't know at this point in time.
Chip, I'm sorry if I'm making you repeat something.
That's okay.
Where in the house exactly were these people stabbed? Multiple rooms?
I don't have those details at this point.
Loretta, spelled L-O-R-E-T-T-A.
Loretta.
Thank you.
You know if anybody else was living at the home?
Not that we know of. You know, the victims had traumatic injuries at the scene, and were limited in the information we were able to receive from them at that time. And our detectives are out in the field now, and we'll be following up on all these additional details as time goes on. Thank you.
Thank you.